Okay, let's get started. Welcome, everybody. Happy New Year's. The outline for this is basic FT-8 training. Rich helped me with this. We worked together with it. The basic goals for FT-8 training: to give you information you need to get started using Weak Signal Joe Taylor-X FT-8 software, Logbook of the World, TQSL, and logging programs. Next slide. Here's the outline, what we're going to go over. Tonight, we'll probably get through A with Logbook of the World and TQSL, how to get started with that. I know Charlie's had troubles with that. And has anybody else either got the process started or has access to Logbook of the World? Mary, you do? Sheldon, you do? Okay.
I haven't started.
Okay.
But I don't know if it's complete.
Okay, well, we'll go through the process. There's probably 20 hours of training to go through. So we're just going to touch on things. And if you need help with it, then we'll stop and go through things. But we'll go through all the hot topics here. We are going to talk about WSJTX. We're going to talk about time synchronization software, logging programs, Grid Tracker, EQSL, Club Log, QRZ, N1MM Logger Plus. And Chris asked me to talk about JS8 call, which is it's FT-8, but you can actually communicate with text to whoever you're having a QSO with. So it's a little bit more interactive. And I'm not very familiar with it. I started reading or watching the I guess it's a YouTube presentation on it. It looked interesting. So that'll be probably in February. We'll start talking about that. So, and at the bottom, there's additional information. You know, the addresses if you want more information on how to do stuff. Most of it's pretty interesting. I don't want anybody to be afraid of FT-8 and Logbook of the World. It's a lot to get set up. Once it's set up, it's very easy to use. But the hard part is getting everything set up correctly. So now let me try to figure out how to go to the next. I guess I can do it here. And go open and go browse. And next one. Okay. This is right. This is about Logbook of the World and TQSL. What TQSL is
You're still showing the other one.
Okay. Let me.
You might have to stop sharing and then share again.
Okay. Share screen.
Isn't there like a next slide button or something as you go through them?
The slides, yes, but these are different PowerPoint presentations.
Okay. I see. Okay.
Yeah, and it depends on if you're sharing the screen or by program.
Okay.
Okay. This is right out of Logbook of the World on ARRL's webpage. It basically tells you how to do everything on how to get started with it. Logbook of the World and TQSL. It tells you how to download and install the software, request a certificate with Logbook of the World and TQSL. TQSL is a how how can I, it's a spreadsheet that your information goes into, and then you upload that information to Logbook of the World, which then lets the QSO partner confirm in Logbook of the World that you had a QSO, which then it becomes a QSL. So, like I said, there's a lot to this, but all the information is out there. I can't go through everything that you need. I'll be happy to answer questions if anybody has questions to ask me. This is the base. This page is the basic information that is in ARRL. All you have to do is go to the ARRL.org webpage, and you can just type in LOTW into the search box. Click that on, and it'll take you right to this documentation. Okay. It's the TQSL is free. If you, like I said, if you click on the hypertext, it won't take you there, I don't think, from this screen, but you can copy and paste the information into your browser address box and hit enter, and it should take you there. Let's see. As it says, you got to turn off your spyware program when you go to load it. You have to request a certificate, which is by on the ARRL webpage. You send a request, they'll send you a postcard with a password on it. And then you go into the program. Let's see if it tells you here. Okay, it did not go. Just a second, folks. Okay. I have more about this in the next PowerPoint presentation, but this basically gives you an overview of what needs to be done. It's step 4 was important to me because I kept losing my certificate. Once you get your postcard and go back in and do what it says in step 3, you'll get an email from ARRL for a TQ6 file. When you get that activated, make sure you save it as in a backup somewhere. Because if you don't, and your file gets deleted, misplaced, whatever, you'll have to go through the process of applying for a new call sign certificate. It only takes like a day, but it's still annoying. And once you save the email information into a backup, you can use that on all your computers. If you have multiple computers, I've got 3 computers set up with it, and it's all the same call sign certificate. And I can look at Logbook of the World on 3 different computers using the same certificate. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Yeah, well, I'll go through and show you on the next PowerPoint how to upload either manually or automatically your QSOs into Logbook of the World. And that's all for that presentation. So now let me go back and open up the next one. This is going quicker than I thought. Seemed like I took forever to to get it going, but now it's moving quickly. To open. Okay, so let me close that down. Close this one. Okay, now where is share? Okay, this PowerPoint presentation is Logbook of the World, TQSL, how those two program software work and where to find help. So the first, I downloaded this off the ARRL webpage, and I guess I'll just read it to you guys. TQSL is an application used to digitally sign and upload QSOs to the ARRL's Logbook of the World online service. Okay, like I said before, TQSL is just a software package that lets you upload your information when you work a QSO in WSJT-X. And Logbook of the World is what lets the QSO be confirmed, and then it changes into a QSL. Let's see what else we have here. TQSL accepts QSOs in a log file whose format is either ADIF or Cabrillo, which many logging applications can export. That works for all the applications we're going to talk about in this process later on, probably in February, maybe quicker, with the login programs, the 5 login programs we're going to talk about. And if you look down under where the colon is, it tells you call sign certificates specifying the call sign you use over the air, DXCC entity, et cetera, et cetera. Once you get logged into Logbook of the World, some of this is automatically propagated, and if you use worked all states, you have to actually create your own file for that. What else is there? Now, let me ask that. Does anybody have any questions so far, or am I going too fast, too slow? You know, like I said, this is new to me on presenting this. Any comments? Okay, we'll move on then. Once you install Logbook of the World TQSL, start the program. Once the program is running, right-click on the TQSL icon in the, I guess I ought to be able to read the thing, huh?
Steve,
Yeah,
I have a question.
yeah, go ahead.
On my computer, I have Logbook of the World screen on, and it says you are, and gives my call sign and everything. But how do I get to that screen right there with those 4 icons?
Okay. When I'm looking to give you an answer.
Yeah, we'll go back one.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Okay.
No,
Now one more.
one more.
That one.
That one. I have that
Okay.
screen.
You're
You're on a
screen.
web page. That's a
Yeah.
web page. You
It's a
actually
web
have to
page.
run the program on your PC.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. All right. Got it.
Thank you,
So,
Mike.
yeah, do you know what that icon looks like? Can we see that, or
Well, it's right down here.
let me get my magnifying glass. No.
Yeah, I know, I know. I was waiting for
It's a
some
key.
smart
It looks
aleck.
like a key.
It looks like a key.
Yeah.
You know, and I do address that. So let me get through my process before I get totally messed up here.
All right, I'll shut up.
No, no,
All
no.
right, thanks.
I'm joking.
Questions are good. Questions are good. Let's see. We're here. This page, once you click on this, the log on button on your on the internet, on your browser, it will take you to this page. Okay, now the top three are how to upload, and I had this all in here. How to upload QSOs into Logbook of the World. The bottom one where I am now is Logbook of the World. You just click on that and it'll take you to, which page will it take you to? It'll take you to this page. So, but we're skipping ahead a little bit. So let me hop back. We're going to go to the log on page. And then for here, for the top three, for uploading information into Logbook of the World, there's two ways. Okay. There's two ways to do it. Slide 2A is if you do it manually, and it's kind of self-explanatory. You put the call sign of the station that you worked. You put the UTC date. You put the UTC time. You put the mode. If it's FTA, if it's RTT, if it's ready, you know, they give you a bunch of choices. FT4, you put the band you're on, which would be either 80 meters, 40 meters, etc. And I always, when I used to do it this way, I always put the receive band the same as the transmit band. You put the frequency of the transmit here. You put the receive frequency right below it. Propagation mode, you click on that and get FT-8. And I think the satellites, you just put none. And when you get that all filled in, you just click OK. And it will put it back into this icon, I believe.
What was the difference between mode and transmit mode? Go back to that previous screen.
Okay.
One says mode and one says propagation mode. What's the difference between those two? Is that the same?
All you do is they give you a lot of choices to pick on that, Gary. And the best I can figure out with that, I just put down FT-8 or none in those bottom two boxes. And once you get that all filled in, all of this down at the bottom becomes highlighted, so you can, you know, if you have 10 you are trying to load, 10 QSOs you're trying to load, you would just hit the next arrow button or add QSO. And if you don't want what you just writ, you just push delete. And when you're happy with everything, you push OK. And it uploads it so you can sign it. Okay, let's go back to this page. The middle and top buttons. Okay, I have mine set up with a login program, so mine automatically sends it right to right to, I'm having a Gary moment. Logbook of the world. That's what I'm trying to think. Sends it right to Logbook of the world. I don't have to go through any of these steps. And some people like to go through the steps. They can pick and choose who they upload into their Logbook of the world from TQSL. I don't care if the guy comes back and sends me a QSO and sends a 73 or a report of some sort. I just automatically save it and it automatically uploads it, and I use Grid Tracker for that. But we'll get there. I'm hitting a lot of stuff all at once. So I want to talk about slide 2B, and it's not really easy to see, but at the bottom of this is from Weak Signal Joe Taylor X. It's the log, and that's where all your information goes from when you upload this information. It'll go to a log, and when you're ready to upload the log, you have to know where your information is. My information is at Stephen Farney, app data, local WSJT JT-X, and that's where this file is located at. So you have to know where that is. That's very important. Gary worked with me to explain to me how to get there, and we'll cover that, but we're just not there yet. I'm just trying to give you an overview a little bit. Okay, next. Logbook of the World works in conjunction with TQSL. As we have seen in slides 3 and 4, TQSL is the database for uploading. Can't see, folks. What do I do here? I minimize. No, that's not it. I minimize. That's better. I'll get the hang of this. For uploading to Logbook of the World, which would be Logbook of the World is also a type of login program. All of your QSOs. Once your QSOs are uploaded to Logbook of the World is where you can track and see what QSOs are confirmed, which ones are not confirmed, how many countries you have that are confirmed in mixed bands, individual bands, etc. My experience is that between 90 and 95% of the hams worldwide use Logbook, TQSL Logbook of the World to confirm QSOs. As of this writing, which was yesterday, I have 3,234 QSOs and 2,068 QSLs. So about 2/3 of my contacts, my QSOs, have confirmed. And that's about normal. A little bit more, a little bit less. I would say 65 to 70% confirm within a week. Some confirm immediately, like I do. But don't get discouraged. I just got a couple in the past couple days from back in April. So, in April is when I started doing all this, folks. So it's once you get everything set up, it moves really quick and it works really easy. Next,
what is
go
the
ahead.
fee? What
No
is the
fee.
fee for the confirmations?
Well, let's put it this way. Confirmations in the Logbook of the World, there is no fee. Sometimes African countries, sometimes I'm trying to think who else. Fiji, the contact I had in Fiji charged me $5. Sometimes it's $3 using PayPal. And I only pay if it's a real exotic call sign.
When did they change that? I thought they always charged for confirmation.
Nah. Not using Logbook of the World. Now they charge you if you get the DXCC certificate, they charge you per contact. But as far as confirmation goes, to get enough QSLs to get a DXCC certificate, they don't charge you for that. The individual stations charge you sometimes to do. It's not very common, but there are, like I worked a couple African countries. Malawi was one of them. That's the hospital station. They charge $5. There's a few of them that charge $5, and most of the time you can find out how to do that in Club Log. If you set up the account for that, that's where you'd find that information. But as far as Logbook of the World, Alan, now that they don't charge for that at all, it's free. Okay, we talked about the log on. There's two places on this screen you can log on. Below the password and up in the right-hand corner where it says log on, I circled those two places. I'll show you where you have to go to set up everything. As you,
Steve,
yeah, go ahead.
I have two questions.
Go ahead.
First question, I got icon on my desktop for QSL. Do I need to go to this screen to sign in? Or can I use that icon?
As far as I know, Charlie, you have to be able to get to this screen. Okay, that you see my username, and once you get the postcard and get set up so you can get to this screen, then you put a different password in. This is not the password that you get in the postcard. This is a password that you create, and that's what you use to log in after the very first time. Okay, does that explain it a little bit?
Yeah, probably will explain a lot to me tomorrow once the ARR unlocks my screw up that we
Okay,
did just over the weekend.
right. Okay, we talked about, once you get to this page, there are several things that will help you navigate this program. First, top right, I talked about that. It tells you this shows you your QSOs and it shows you your QSLs. And when you get done looking at that to see if there's any change, and you would click on where it says your QSOs. And let's see, where do I want to go from there? It would take you to this page when you click on your QSOs. And as you can see, there's two things I have circled here, QSOs and QSOs and QSLs. If you click on QSOs, it'll take you to this page. And this page is all the contacts that you've uploaded and the ones that are filled in with the country of origin of the QSO that you worked, they are confirmed and they are now QSLs.
They're gonna be in the same page.
No, they're not on the same page, Charlie. The QSOs are the ones that are not filled in. Okay. The QSLs are the ones that are filled in. That's when you click on most recent QSOs. Give me just a second here, folks. When you go to the next page I have, this is when you click on QSLs and they're all filled in. They're all confirmed. So anytime, let me pop back. Anytime you have blank spaces over here in the QSL area, that means they're not confirmed. Anytime you have the countries filled in, they are confirmed. And the ask is considered an entity. I guess that's the proper word to use. I call them countries. But this is going way quicker than I thought it would. Took me forever to write all this stuff. Where are we going now? Okay, awards.
If you go back to slide
Sure.
10,
Sure. Go ahead, Mary.
so these are the ones that are confirmed.
Correct. Okay, if you look at the top of this line, it says QSLs. QSLs are confirmed contacts. Let me go back to, and they were all filled in. Okay, all those are filled in. That's when you push, when it says most recent QSLs. When you click on most recent QSOs, you get everything you've done, not just the confirmed ones. You also get the ones you're waiting for confirmation for. So that's the difference, the basic difference in, the right column. If there's blanks in it, you're in the most recent QSOs. And if they're all filled in, you're probably in the most recent QSLs. And if you look through towards the left, it gives you the frequency, the mode, the band, the time and date, the station work, and your call sign. If you click on details, if there is no propagation in the QSL column, excuse me, you won't get much. You'll give you a little bit. But when you click on details, and it has been filled in the QSL, you'll get a lot more details. They'll give us an American USA. They'll give you the county. They'll give you the state. And a bunch of other things.
So do you know why they break Alaska out, even though it's in?
Yes.
Okay.
For the same reason they break out Hawaii, because it's a distant entity and it's much harder to get QSOs there.
So now, because it technically is part of the United States, if you were to click on that, would that give you all the additional information like county, like it would if you were to?
I
click
believe
on-
so. I believe
Okay.
so, Mike. I never clicked on it because I guess I'm anal about this. I write everything down when I make the QSO. I write everything down when I make the QSO up in the logbook I have. So I do have a backup, and there's multiple backups on the computer too. But Puerto Rico is its own entity, which is also part of the U.S.
Yeah, and like Guam and anywhere
Guam
else. Okay.
and Marianas.
It might be interesting to note that the log that you were talking about, an FT-8, that's kept in that directory you mentioned, Steve. That the QSO you're in gets recorded in that log. I noticed as soon as the 73s come up at the end of the QSO in FT-8, that's when it gets written to the log in FT-8 in that directory.
Right. And
all of that
I've
information.
got a slide for that too.
Yeah,
Gary.
what I do is I back that log up on occasion. It's
I
just-
usually just take that log and just dump that right into TQSL.
yeah,
And that loads everything.
yeah.
That, and I load it right into my Excel program that I keep as a log too. And you can import that right in, and I can explain how to do that, but it works pretty good. So, okay, now.
Yeah, that
we're-
log is nothing more than a comma delimited file, so it's
Right.
easy to, import it into Excel.
So the next thing I have here is awards. And this is all in Logbook of the World, folks. So, I'm going fairly quick. Oh, I'm not going that quick, am I? So if you click on awards, if you click on that, you have to have your cursor right on the word awards. If you're off to the side, it won't let you click on it. And that takes you to the next page. And this is a little old. I'm up to 118 current now, but this is what you'll see. You'll get mixed modes. Mixed modes is when you have confirmation of QSOs in 40 meters, 20 meters, 10 meters. It's just a hodgepodge of different contexts.
That's where you go to look to see how many countries you've worked all together, your aggregate.
Correct. If you look over to this total current, it'll tell you for each band and for the mixed and digital, how many countries you've worked. Excuse me. Now, to get that information, I didn't cover this. Okay, let me cover this. When you click on awards, this screen will pop up. It's all automatically created a account for you in DXCC when you get set up with your login to this program. When you get that set up, you get your postcard, you set up your password, and that will automatically create an account for you for DXCC. It will not create one in Worked All States. You have to make that yourself, and we'll cover that shortly.
Could I add something to that?
Sure.
Now, actually, you go into the ARR website, and there's a page for DXCC. Okay, and it's for tracking contacts that are monitored by cards. Okay, in other words, if you go to a card checker and fill out you fill out a form before you go to a card checker. Once the the ARRL DXCC desk has received it, and then they do put them in the Logbook of America. You won't have the same information available, but at least when you go to country counts, they will appear. And you can actually, when you're looking at a particular DXCC award, like 160 meters, 40 meters, 20 meters, digital, whatever, you have options. So you can look and see all of the countries that you've worked right there.
Thank you, John. Yeah, once you click on select the XCC account, award account, that will take you back to, take you to this page. And like John was saying, 6 meters, I've worked 2 countries. 15 meters, I've worked 100 countries. So then where are we here? Okay. If you go back and click on awards, and you click on the first time, you have to click on create new for Worked All States account. And that is this page. create new worked all states account. Click on that first, and that will take you to this page. And you just put in your call sign here, click on set as default, and click save. And then you created your account for worked all states. Then you come back to this page. Once you do, only have to do that once. Once you do that, your account is created and it'll propagate your call sign up here. Then you, the second thing you do is click on select was account, award account. And that will take you to this page. And it's basically the same type of screen that you for work for DXCC. You know, it tells you mixed 80 meters, 40 meters, blah, blah, you know, and then digital bands, 5 bands. You can look at all these different things. Some of it's interesting. I try to work 5 bands with worked all states. And what else is there?
What's triple play?
Triple play is digital, CW, and phone.
Okay.
And that came out long before FT-8.
Yeah, because you had RIDI back in the day. So that was probably the digital part of it. And then, you know, CW has been around since what, the 20s, 10s, whenever they started. And the phone has been probably around since pretty close right after that. Okay. This is, oh, okay. I forgot to mention that. If you click on any of these hypertext, it will take you to that band. I didn't make a slide for that. I should have. Take you to that band and show you for that band. It'll give you options to look up what you have confirmed for states. What you can also click on all 50 states and see which ones are confirmed and which ones aren't confirmed. And it just gives you more information. You know, as you can see, new QSLs, I have 49 for 80 meters, 49 for 20 meters. Just keeps a running tally of what you have for the different criteria. And my last slide on this topic is, then this is on the ARRL's website. At the very bottom here, I have 2 hypertext that if you type in either one, it will take you to all this information, and then you'll be able to just click on the hypertext. The quick start guide for Logbook of the World is really good, and the new user's guide is excellent. So both of them, I don't know, they're probably 50 to 100 pages each. But, you know, if you're having troubles with any of this stuff, you know, it'll give you all the information you need. So that's all I have basically for Logbook of the World. I mean, if anybody has any questions, I will definitely try to answer them. And you know, hopefully I gave enough information that will help you, even if I didn't cover something that seems to be a mountain to climb. At least you'll have the resources to look up help guides and see what's going on. Anybody have any questions?
I have a question.
Go ahead, Charlie.
When you were saying worked all states in each mode, is that like, is that like phone and CW and RIDI, or does it have to be each individual?
I know what you're asking. If I went back to that page, this is my Worked All States Awards. Now, this is all digital except the triple band, because that's a combination of digital, phone, and CW. Everything else here, I believe, is all digital. Even the 5 bands is digital. 5 bands is 80, 40, 20, 15, and 10. That's working all the states of the union, all 50 states on each one of those bands. But now the only one that is multiple modes is triple play. All the rest are just digital. Does that answer your question, Charlie?
And those top items that are listed, like 80, 40, those are CW. You can make CW contacts and it would count there. Okay.
Right. But you don't have to. All mine are digital. All these here I have, and 40 meters I have, 50 states I have a certificate for that. These are all digital. Because if you look under the mixed, it doesn't tell you. It tells you in, I'm pretty sure it tells you in DXCC. No, it doesn't. So I'm sorry about that, folks. I was getting ahead of myself. Anyway, yeah, the reason I don't send QSL cards in, number one, you get very few of them working on FT-8. I think I've gotten maybe 5 in all my QSOs. Everybody just does it with Logbook of the World. And with FT-8, if you get a QSL card, what's it take? A week for the contact to fill it out, mail it to you, and then you have to send it into a checker, and they have to confirm it. You know, whereas if you use Logbook of the World, you know, you don't have to go through any of that. All you do is click on your login program, and your login program will get the process started. You don't have to worry about it.
Okay, I got a couple of more comments.
Go ahead.
Previously, Al had asked about paying for cards. Typically, everybody we use Logbook of the World. Okay, that's required for the ARRL monitoring of the countries and the awards. Okay, but we also use Club Log. Okay, and that's where you have an opportunity of getting a card from a DX station. The DX stations are virtually all of them require some kind of a payment before they'll send you any kind of confirmation, including FT-8. And matter of fact, if you do nothing at all, the FT-8 confirmations will be the last confirmations that are sent out. However, if you go to Club Log and say you want a QSL, and LOTW is usually an option for the DX positions, they will confirm your contact almost immediately. Whereas if you do nothing, you won't receive an LOTW confirmation until maybe 6 months after the contest.
Good point, John. Yeah, I worked a station in Haiti, and they required, I think it was $3 on PayPal to confirm. I sent them the $3, and they're the only contact I've had that I paid for the confirmation that actually sent me a physical card. Everybody else just confirms in Logbook of the World. I've probably paid maybe 5 to 7 stations. And yeah, it's just, I've never received any cards from anybody but the Haiti contact. So, it's as I showed before, it was very frustrating when I first started out that not everybody confirmed. Now, I don't get upset with people that say they don't use Logbook of the World. I said, okay, that's their choice. So I don't get upset with them not confirming. But if somebody says they use Logbook of the World and they will confirm that way, it kind of like galls at me a little bit. So what I do is I'll wait 2 to 3 months, and if I go back through all my QSLs, and if I really want the country that hasn't confirmed, I go in a QRZ, look up their email address, send them all the information of the QSO, and ask them to please confirm. I've probably sent out maybe 24 email requests, and I have gotten about 5 back that have confirmed. So it's worth a little bit of extra, I guess, patience, if you want to call it that, to keep following up. Like I said, I got one from Gibraltar. I got one from Fiji. I'm trying to remember. It's hard to remember when you got 2,000 QSLs, all the ones that, I went back. But, I do keep a log of them. So just another way to try to get confirmations. Any more questions? Okay, well, let's close this out.
I do have a suggestion,
Go ahead.
and that would be for a program like this. It's probably much easier to bring the app up on your screen, okay? And everybody can just see your screen, and you can go ahead and click any button you want, and the whole group will see exactly what you're doing, rather than try and explain it in the PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah, demo would be nice.
Mary, I don't know why Earl's upside down, but Earl, you're
I was
upside
wondering
down.
it too. Are you on a phone, Earl? You might want to flip it over. We scared him away.
Or do away with the video. So I would do that by, instead of what we did with the PowerPoint, I would just get the screen going for FT-8 and go from there. Is that what everybody's telling me?
I think a combo is good, because I think you need to explain some of the stuff, but it would be good to have like maybe a 5-minute demo or 10-minute demo. But what you've done so far has been excellent.
Yeah.
Sorry you saw me looking to the side. I'm trying to get my old Mac set up with Windows in parallel, and it was like going crazy. So I actually had my daughter in here for a second. I don't know if any of you guys saw her in the background, but it looked like I was being hacked. So I was kind of taking care of that. So apologies if I was a little distracted.
No problem, Mary.
And
My
maybe,
wife wanted this night to be over so bad. She said, I've been stressing about this so much. But yeah,
If you can, maybe you like, bring up a logbook of the world and actually go through the real screens. As if you were adding a QSO or whatever. I think that's
I
what.
do have that somewhere. I got to find out. I'll have that for the next session.
Okay.
I do have that. So I made screenshots.
Yeah, but I mean, bring up the actual program. That's the.
Okay, I can't do that on this computer because this computer's
Oh.
not hooked to the radio.
Oh, okay, right. Well, that's one of my problems with the Mac here is I
Yeah.
FL Digi and I had, I don't think I had, yeah, okay.
But I can do that, Gary. That's a good point. Okay. So next time I'll
We'll
use
make a video maybe of it. Maybe. But I just wanted to say WSJX, I can't download it for Windows. I put it in the chat. I can do it for Mac, but I can't do it for Windows. Is anyone else having that
Weird.
problem?
No, I have it for Windows.
Try to download it today.
Oh, well, maybe they
I've
got
been
it.
trying for like a
Yeah,
few days
wow.
and it's
Maybe
like
they
the
have-
links are broken.
Yeah, maybe they got server issues.
They definitely have server
It's
issues.
hooked up to Jeff's camera. That's what the problem is.
which website, Mary, have you been trying to download from? Is it from
The pulsarprinceton.edu, the WSJTX.html. When
right
I
that's
go
the right
there and
one.
I
Yeah.
click on the Windows, either 32 or 64, I get a, go to a display file not found kind of thing. So, I mean, I'm at the point where I might have to build it, which on my 10-year-old Mac Parallels is definitely going to be a challenge since Windows is not my forte. So, but I do have it on the Mac side. So I'll probably continue. Of course, I don't have it hooked up to an antenna that can do HF.
It's
Oh.
possible.
John? We just lost you.
Yeah, okay, it's possible that the website's down. As a matter of fact, I think there was an advertised outage of ARRL website. I don't know if it was just that or Logbook of the World. I don't remember what the dates were, but that would certainly be a factor. Okay.
Oh yeah, no, hopefully it'll clear up so I can get it on the Windows side. Just trying to follow along with, the presentation, like the checklist of items. And now I've got everything but WSJTX on Windows. Of course, everything's just downloaded. It's not connected and hooked up to a radio with an HF antenna.
Mary, for the past 2 days, I've had troubles with ARRL with Logbook of the World. It's been really slow. I mean, most of the time it goes quick. You click on it and it goes to the next screen. I've had to wait 10 minutes today. So I don't know if there's a lot of people that got radios for Christmas and New Year's or what the situation is, or maybe they're just
They could be doing
overwhelmed.
server maintenance and stuff like that, thinking
Could be.
people aren't using it. Ha ha. I don't know. So anyway. Cool.
Any-
Well, thank you.
Any more comments? Anything I could do better? I like what everybody suggested about having a running, session with FT-8 and Logbook of the World and everything. I can do that. I can figure that out. I'll just do everything on the other computer that I have hooked into my radios. That's not a problem. Anything else, folks?
You did a good job.
Thank you.
Very good job.
Surprised the heck out of myself.
Thanks, Steve. It was good. Good stuff.
Okay.
All right, so what are you gonna do the next time? Is it go into FT-8 or a little review of
Well, I'll
logbook first?
I'll go over and review this real quick.
Uh-huh.
I'll give the couple screens that have all the information where to find stuff in case somebody wasn't here tonight, and review that. Then I'll start into WXT, WSJT-X.
Right. Okay, cool.
That is hard to say.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's easier to say weak signal Joe Taylor -X. That's
Right.
easier to
I
say.
just call it FT-8. That's all I use it on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mary, for you, I want you to learn all this stuff, but to get it to work, you will need to get an HF radio working.
I was wondering, since I've got John on, John Pierce, he might be able to answer this. I'm going to be at the clubhouse on Wednesday at 10, meeting with Chris, ADTCS. He's going to give me a HF station tutorial and get me to download the software. Would I be able to do FT-8 if I remotely access the club's HF antenna and radios?
If you're talking about remote access, you should be asking the other John. You should be asking John W2HUV. I can
All
tell
right,
you,
wrong John, other John.
if you're going to be at the clubhouse, the answer is yes.
But if I did it remotely, maybe not.
You need to talk to John about that. He knows that
Okay.
far better than I do.
That's what that's my, like, until I get the whole mom stuff situated and get more time and get an antenna that's more than a 2-meter antenna that can only go about 20, miles in my backyard. I thought maybe I could do FT-8 using the remote clubhouse
John, you're
antenna.
doing that, right?
I've done it once.
Yeah,
Hey, once is better than none.
I used to do it a fair amount, okay? But let me remind you that on our website, we do have a section called Remote HF Station. And in there, I have a bunch of guides on how to do different things relative to the remote station. And it
Okay.
turns out FT-8, it works, but it's sort of a pitta, as they say. I recently been introduced to that term. The problem is the codecs that are used by the software manufacturer, which is remote hams, are intended for voice and not for narrow range signals. So when they see a narrow range signal, it just stops decoding it. And you can get garbage transmitted. In fact, the man, Joe Taylor, has at least once contacted me, only once. And he had a sort of a nastygram for me about how awful my signal sounded. And that was using our remote station. But since then, we have something you need to install, which is PITA, and that is a white noise generator, which is easy to get. And you just follow the instructions and hopefully you get it working.
Yeah, the one time that I had it working, I had to spend some time tweaking the mixture of the white noise to be able to get it to work somewhat properly for me. The other thing is that you're going to need virtual audio cables to be able to pipe from, one program into another to send the audio instead of out of your sound card. It needs to go into another program, which is then going over the internet into the other radio.
Yeah, and I've made a recent update to the FT-8 operation procedure, where I recommended still another virtual port. Anyway, it tells you what to do. In fact, I've got a link going
Okay.
to further down.
I'll go read up on it before I get with Chris.
Yeah, it's a good challenge. I mean,
Thanks.
it'll get what you can get it working. It just takes some time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there anything that I should cover that we didn't cover? Any kind of, for the Logbook of the World and TQSL? Anybody see anything?
Did you, and I'm sorry because I was kind of in and out, but did you cover being able to just grab an ADIF file and then uploading that directly instead of typing it into the, like the data entry portion?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Yeah, it's just another button on that screen. for, you know, when I first got into it and I really didn't know what I was doing, that's how I got all my contacts in. I would just grab that massive ADIF file and load it every time.
Well, also in that top line, if you do that, it will say you have 5 new contacts, you have 10 new contacts.
Yeah, out of the 250 that you dumped into it.
Or the 2,000 you dumped in. And all you do is click on, that's all you want to upload, and that's all you upload.
Yeah, and I, you know, from my own experience, I found out that I had to be very careful that when you move between machines, well, you know, your other machine that you installed WSJTX on doesn't have the same ADIF file that you've been accumulating in the other machine. So that adds to the confusion as well, at least in my experience.
That's why I do everything off the same computer for the radio side.
That's another area that I have covered in my tutorials, I guess you will say, is well, okay. I cover how to get FT-8 information directly into N1MM plus, and that goes right into a ADF file automatically. On that one, you actually turn off the connection of N1MM, the CAT connection, and you have certain switches set. And when you're running FT-8, it automatically dumps each contact into the log in N1MM plus. And then when you're all done, okay, periodically, you go ahead and send the ADIF file to Logbook of the World. You go to Logbook of the World and you locate the file and upload it. And one thing that it didn't talk about too much is it does accept, Logbook of the World does accept Cabrillo files now. So if you do a contest, you have an alternative. You can go ahead and upload the contacts using the Cabrillo file. And but personally, ADIF is the way to go, because typically if I operate in a contest, I send one copy to LOTW. I upload another copy to Club Log, and actually I have a logging program that I use on my desktop, and I export a copy to it too. So all I'm ever dealing with is ADIF files to Logbook of the World. Might be interested in knowing, I just tried to sign on to Logbook of the World. It tells me that in 30 days my certificate will expire. So I have to renew my certificate. Well, I was thinking, one thing I heard, you're saying you can change the password. I didn't think you could do that. I've got 2 files that were sent to me ages ago. Well, actually, no, just one, a single file that I've been using for years. Okay, and anytime I need to upload, I have another call sign that I upload calls to. So if you have to switch to another one, you have to know what that darn number is, and I have to look it up each time and enter it and go to the other call sign. But if you're only using one call sign, you virtually never need the LOTW password, because it's always memorized by your computer, knock on wood.
You're right, John, but sometimes you make boo-boos.
Yeah, don't clear the cache.
Yeah. I think I've had 4 or 5 different passwords when I was trying to go from one computer to 2 computers to 3 computers. You know, I wasn't understanding how to do that originally. Now I know how to do that. But you know, yeah, I can check Logbook of the World on any one of my 3 computers I have it set up for. You know, in the living room and the 2 in this room. So, you know, it's not hard to do. It's just you have to know how to do it. So, like we said, Gary, in 2 weeks, I'll review a little bit what we covered tonight, and we'll move on to things I haven't covered. I think I have 2 or 3 more PowerPoints we'll go through, and I'll set up on the other computer how the QSOs work and all that stuff, and give a little running example of how all that works. So, you know, got more work to do. But
Okay.
you know, it's enjoyable.
You can send the host back to me.
Okay, how do I do that?
Upper
3 buttons.
The
yeah,
3
upper-
dots.
the 3 dots.
Okay.
And then the next one will be Monday the 16th.
Yes, Martin Luther
Okay,
King's
now
birthday.
there's going to be a 5th Monday in the month. Maybe next week. What depends how it goes. We might decide to put that extra week in on the 30th.
Okay, I still don't know how to send it back to you, Gary. I have mute my audio, stop video.
The 3 dots on his picture.
on my
On
page,
your picture.
on my
Okay.
picture. Right.
Okay. Make host.
That's it. Make host.
Okie doke. Thanks for all your help, Gary. I appreciate it.
All right, no problem.
Everybody's help. It was,
Yeah,
like I said,
it's a team effort.
I was nervous.
I just recently I went pro on this. I got my own account. So if anybody, I've got now unlimited unlimited sessions on Zoom, no time limits or anything. So if anybody wants to, get a hold of me, just shoot me an email, and I can create a meeting, and we can converse without being interrupted or worrying about using the club one, for private use. It turned out to be like $13 a month for a private, pro session. So I talked to Ann and let me do it. So just keep that in mind. We have our own account now. Unlimited. Everybody can do it, but you're going to be limited to 40 minutes, and then it shuts you down. Then you have to start a new one. This one, I didn't want to bother with it. So,
Okay.
So wanted everybody to know that. All right. See you on the 16th.
Hold up.
Yes.
I think John wanted to have something to say.
Oh, okay. John, you want to say something?
Yeah, the first thing I was going to say is I hope to see everybody on Wednesday night, because that's
Right.
the first meeting, either on Zoom or in person. If you can come in person, that'd be better. It's always better to be there in person. The other thing, if I can just take a moment, host disabled screen sharing. Can you let me share? What I wanted to do is ask you guys what you want to talk about in future sessions.
Okay, let me make you host. Then
Yeah,
you can
thanks.
do anything you want.
Still the
Okay,
same.
there you go, John.
What am I sharing? What am I sharing?
Okay, we got Future Tech Saturday.
The whiteboard presentation. Snippet tool.
Oh yeah, 2 screen. Just click on the screen you want to.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah, so what do you guys want to do? I mean, we basically broadened the topic list for the from the DigiNet to a technical net, and Chris and I just kind of brainstormed some of this stuff. The DigiNet is kind of a collaborative thing where everybody's at home, so you can be trying stuff on your own computer and things like that. That's kind of the way it fits into the 3 different presentation mediums that we have: the Wednesday night session, the Tech Saturday, and then this. And I was just trying to brainstorm on some things that we could do in these sessions. And I'm kind of interested in your thoughts. APRS, I think, needs to be a Wednesday night followed by a Tech Saturday, because that's big enough that it'll take a lot of time to cover. But DMR might be small enough that only a few of us, don't know about it or are interested in it. HT programming, similar to that. Antenna design software. I know that ARRL has some software out there that will let you do antenna design. I don't know anything about this, but it seems that somebody could go download the software and read the instructions and fool around with it a little bit, and then do a Monday night session. PSK reporter, tape measure, antenna would obviously be a Tech Saturday thing. Comparison of digital modes. I was fooling around last night with just trying out the digital modes on FT-8 and dumping them into Audacity and reading them back and seeing how fast they were, or how wide they were, or how impervious to noise they were. So it might be fun to fool around with that. But you guys can see the list. What do you think about some of this stuff? And are there other topics that we should do on a Monday night where we can take an hour or so and just kick something around?
Yeah, no, I think PSK reporter is a good topic for a TechNet. DMR, I got into DMR like probably 2 years ago. I've had the Anytones, but I can't keep up with what's going on, the changes in the local repeaters and that kind of stuff. So maybe somebody who really is up on that can bring us through that. I know not everybody has DMR radios, but that might be a good subject for a TechNet. Definitely the PSK reporter and time synchronization kind of goes hand in hand with the FT-8. You have to make sure, I'm sure Steve will cover it, but on FT-8, you have to make sure that your clock is synchronized with everybody else on FT-8. And there's a couple of ways to do it in Windows and other operating systems. So I think that's important. SDR software, if you're talking about like SDR Play, that kind of stuff, John?
Yeah, anything. I mean, we talked about SDR Angel at one of the sessions, but that's not what we used at the clubhouse.
No, you can get an SDR thing for $20, just plug it in, throw an antenna into it, and it's the same thing. And basically, it may not work as well as SDR Play, the SDR box, but essentially the same thing. And that's a good, it turns your computer into a spectrum analyzer. You can see, like for instance, I can see the entire 2-meter FM band.
Yeah.
All 4 megahertz at the same time.
Yeah, and you're talking about the hardware, and I was talking about the software too.
Yeah, well, both. Yeah, right.
SDR Angel is software, but that's not what we use at the clubhouse. What we use at the clubhouse is SDR console.
Yeah.
For reasons that we have.
Right.
And then there's other stuff. So, but if there's somebody who hasn't dealt with
Audacity is a good subject for, I think, for a TechNet, because you can put it right up on the screen, and I've got it. I use it to record a couple of things off the air, but I haven't really dabbed into it that much. That's an excellent thing. I think that would be good as a TechNet as well.
Slow scan TV would be a good topic.
Yeah. We don't go back to MS slow scan TV again.
Now, you guys covered that, didn't you?
We did.
Yeah,
but,
it's still
after
fun.
all this, we might want to go back to it. There's some people with new interests. Maybe new members. Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah, and that's something that would work well on a Monday night, because then everybody can try it.
Right.
And
I'm going to cover 5 different login programs. So we're going to do that with the information that I'm trying to convey to everybody, and I'm going to do a time synchronization PowerPoint.
Yeah, I was talking to Chris about that today. I mean, he brought up things like integrating a GPS and picking up the time sync signal from the GPS and using hardware to do that, which I think is really pretty interesting. And there are more complicated technical rubidium standards and stuff like that, but all I know is that's what it's called, So, And you don't have to be an expert on this stuff. You just go read, a couple of articles and then bring it up to talk about.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I always figure that, if you know more than 50% of the people, you can present it.
Yeah, if you're on page 5 and they're on page 3, you're an expert.
That's it. And then this is a good group, because nobody's going to jump on you if you say something wrong, when there's somebody that knows things. So, just, if a couple of people out there wanted to just grab one of these topics and go read 3 articles about it, you could do a session on it.
Yeah, right.
And then everybody else will jump in. So I think this is a great opportunity for a bunch of different people. Maybe you don't feel like doing a presentation in front of 30 people at the clubhouse,
Right.
putting together the PowerPoint for it. But go read a couple of articles, make 20 notes, and bring the software up on your computer.
Yeah, right.
And present it.
That was
So,
the first PowerPoints I've ever made.
there you go. There you go. You got to start somewhere.
You
Anybody
did
else?
great, Steve. You did great.
Thank you.
Anybody else have thoughts on stuff that this is a slide I'm going to use on Wednesday night. I just had it in front of me. So
I put in chat anything on antennas since I need to get an HF antenna. I don't even know where to start.
Mary, I love my vertical.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh,
yeah, well,
I don't know where to start. I guess analysis paralysis, but I'm not even at the analysis part, just the paralysis part.
okay.
Back when I first got my license, Mary, I totally built my first vertical by hand. I didn't buy anything but the components I needed. And it worked pretty good, but it wasn't automatic switching. I had to go out and change the bands on the antenna every time I wanted. So I had a coil at the base of the antenna. It was interesting in the wintertime.
Yeah, my first antenna was what I could afford when I was 13 years old, so it was a dipole.
You usually get pretty good success on a dipole. I started out with a 10-meter dipole, which is really easy to build and has a very small footprint. So an inverted V might be your best bet if you just want to get on the HF bands. The list that you got up here, John, it pretty much has everything on here that I wanted to hear. So it's fairly complete. The one thing that I did want to bring up though is the format that we've been running these. It seems as it's kind of like presentation and then playing around where the whole point of it is to train. But is there any thought in maybe just having an open Zoom workshop where we could collectively figure things out together, where we go into it where there's a topic and nobody really knows anything about it. We all do a little bit of homework and then we meet and then try to figure things out collectively.
Well, that's kind of where we are with a lot of this stuff. I mean, somebody's got to know something, because you don't want to go around the room and nobody knows anything.
Yeah, you need a seed
Yeah.
of knowledge. Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be something like what you did a couple of weeks ago, where you put together a whole, color coordinated PowerPoint presentation and had done, everything like that. That's great when, for what it was, but they don't have to be like that.
Okay.
And Mary brought up the antenna selection. I mean, you could just have everybody give their opinions on antennas and that'd take 20 minutes, So, I mean, you could, and you'd get a whole different audience, because like guys like Tony aren't here. Al is here. Al knows everything there is to know about antennas, but the other people would have opinions. This is kind of the group that would talk about the more esoteric areas of ham radio as opposed to the basic areas of ham radio, like antennas. So that's why I brought this up to this group specifically, in addition to bringing it up on Wednesday night.
I've tried to use PSK Reporter and I have had no luck in understanding how to do it. So I think that's for FT-8, that would be a very good topic to work on.
Well, we'll figure it out. And, guys, pick a topic and just, go read like 3 articles about it. And then let me know you're ready to present, or let Chris know, or let Ron know, because we're the 3 guys that are dealing with educational content. And I think we can have some really interesting sessions. I mean, if we can do 2 or 3, like there's 3 Mondays this month, we can do 3 sessions like this on a Monday night, just talking about something interesting with, a dozen or so of us. There's a lot of.
I've got PSK Reporter on this computer. That's what I use it on. So I
Yeah.
can walk you through that program, Steve, in about 15 minutes.
Yeah, and you've got to link it into the uplinks too, so you show up.
Yeah.
So I've done that with FT-8, but we were trying to do it with the the meteor scatter program we were running a couple of weeks ago, and we were not linked into that. So there's different ways to link it into different programs. So I mean, there's you may have had to do it with one program, but not with another, or maybe there's a common way to do it, and that again is something that
Yeah, I mean, PSK Reporter is pretty simple.
Yeah.
You choose a band, you choose your call letters, you choose a mode, you got a map of the world, you do a CQ on FT-8, and then go to the map of the world, and after filling in what you're specifically looking for on that band, you do a go, and it'll show you where in the world, or the United States, in my case, where your signal was received.
Yeah, who heard you?
Right, it's really cool.
You got to cut out a lot of the garbage, though, like the weak signals and
Yeah,
because there's
but
a lot of
it's
extra
all
stuff.
menu driven,
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't have any trouble at all with it. I just, look for your signal comes up in like a little bubble, a little like one of those newspaper dialect bubbles that you see in the comics.
So when we demo that, we're going to have somebody who actually is running an HF rig and can be transmitting, and then
Right, I can do
signal
that.
pickups up.
I can do that. We can
Yeah.
I'll do it because I actually use the program on this computer, my Mac, and right across the room I got the HF rig. So
Yeah.
I can just send out a CQ on 20 meters, depending upon what the time of night it is, and we can all look for my signal.
Yeah,
And then everybody can try it. We can look for their signal.
that sounds pretty cool. I mean, those of us who have HF capability.
Just schedule it because it's not much. I mean, we could probably cover the whole thing in an hour, a half hour to an hour.
Yeah, you may need
It's pretty simple.
that plus some other topic.
One of the things I do is take away. They have a shading which shows you where the darkness is. As the world rotates, as the Earth rotates. I take that off right away because I find it annoying.
Yeah,
I can't
right.
see the stuff underneath it.
You don't need to know where it's dark.
Right. Well, you can put it up. Oh, okay, it's dark over there. Now I take it off. I don't care where it's dark anymore. Besides, all I do is look out the window to see where it's dark. So,
Right.
Hey, Gary, remember one thing.
yeah.
It's always very easy when you know what you're doing. When you don't
Well,
know what you're doing,
I know, but
it's like
I
trying
can-
to invent the
I can
atomic
demo.
bomb.
I can demo it. Everybody can see the screen, and then I'll show you where you choose. Where you put in your search criteria. It's very simple. If I can figure it out, it's got to be simple.
We'll schedule something like that. I don't want to take any more of anybody's time because we're already at 9:30. But think about something that you'd like to cover. If it doesn't even have to be something about, just something you're willing to research and do a couple of hours of reading on, and anybody can be a leader or a presenter on this thing. Just think of something interesting and we'll talk about it. So thanks, I appreciate
Sounds good.
your attention to this.
I have one more comment for Mary, and I was thinking, why not just get a copy of the ARRL handbook? When I was a kid, that's all I had. 1954 ARRL handbook, and I still got a couple of those old ones, but they have a ton of information in it. And as to me, starting out, a dipole is the antenna to use. I worked DXCC when I was a kid with 3 dipoles, one for 20, one for 40, and one for 80. And 20 meters is the one where you're most likely to get DXCC, at least then. But now 10 meters, gee whiz, a 10-meter dipole doesn't take any space.
I've had very good success on 10-meter dipole just recently.
Yeah, well, with the handbook, 2 things. Number one, let's see if I can move this up so you can see the year on this. I still have this. I had it in this box someplace. It does not have any of the digital modes in it though. So other than CW. But what John said makes a lot of sense, because today I was getting really interested in the digital mode. So I went out and I spent $65 and I downloaded the 2023 handbook, which of course I got right away. And I've already read chapter 15. And this is something we started talking about at 3 o'clock this afternoon. So yeah, I mean, you can learn an awful lot about something in a really short period of time with just reading the handbook.
Thanks.
Anything else? Anybody? Okay,
How long?
Take care, everybody.
okay.
23.
I guess, John,
Wednesday.
you can end the session, John, because you're still the.
Oh, okay. All righty. So long.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.